Khan was staying, that would be a different situation. I think the view of us and the view of many on the street is that Khan's days at the FTC are numbered. I think you ultimately get a more, we'll call it even-keeled, business-friendly sort of chair of the FTC in there. And we just think bark's worse than the bite when it comes to Microsoft. Microsoft went through that battle in the 90s versus, DOJ and U.S. government ultimately won it. And look, you're definitely seeing the strong get stronger in terms of big tech. And as much as this is really going to be a UFC battle that continues to really play out between big tech, but I just think when it's all said and done, the noise is going to be more than the reality, not just from Microsoft, but I think even when it comes to Google and others.
How much is going to hinge, though, on the Trump administration, the picks for DOJ, Antitrust, and FTC? Because there are a number of names floated for each of those positions, and not all of them are, I would say, rah, let tech go wild. Some of them are much more focused on antitrust and I'll call it maybe potentially a similar approach to what we've seen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think on DOJ, you definitely get someone probably in between. I mean, look, Vance is obviously anti-tech, so you're going to definitely have someone that's a little on the aggressive side toward tech. But I think the big issue is on FTC. Because Khan, for big tech, it has been a nightmare in terms of Khan at the FTC. Her being gone, which we believe is ultimately will be the next step when it comes to January, that's bullish for tech. I think, look, a big reason when Trump came in, when you think about Khan out at the FTC, that's bullish for big tech. I think less regulations. And then who's at the table right next to Trump? It's Musk. And I think that's going to also play a big role unofficially in terms of some of these picks and where this all goes. But I continue to think in terms of this AI revolution, it is 10 p.m. at that party that goes to 4 a.m. And I don't see any of these appointments that's changing that party or that party closes early. I think we have a tech bull market that goes well into 2025, 2026. And I think a lot of this sort of noise that we see here are more opportunities to own these names rather than time to get nervous.
Do you buy a Tesla here then, given the rally we've seen, the torrid rally we've seen this month?
I think get the popcorn out, because I believe Tesla's a stock that could ultimately double from here over the next 18 months. It's been obviously a parabolic move, but as me and you have talked about, autonomous itself, we think is worth $1 trillion. So when you think today, I view Tesla as the most undervalued AI name in the market. It is not ridiculous. It might almost be conservative to think, could this be a $500, $600 stock? As the autonomous ultimately plays out, I think the margin story is definitely stabilized here. And I think investors, look, the haters continue to hate. They hate it at $50, they'll hate it here. But I think we sit here, and this will be sort of a golden star, in terms of when you look at the market in 2025, in terms of what we see for Tesla, I believe $2 trillion on the horizon.
After the Solar City deal was done in kind of late 2016 into 2017, thinking that, wow, it was an awful deal. I'm going to get into the stock now short, off and on for the last few years. The first quarter this year, when they reported,
who was the CEO of Solar City at the time?
His cousin.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. We won't go to. He won that court case also.
Okay.
Right. So fast forward to the first quarter this year. It had just started to trade on fundamentals for the first time in a long time. It was hanging around $140, $150. Right. So you felt like, okay, the quarter was bad. Right. What happened? Promise of Autonomous Day in August, which ended up getting pushed out to October. Flies to China to get some regulatory relief on certain things, and lo and behold, attaches himself to Trump to make all the other stuff go away. When the story moves from non-fundamental to technical and those nature, that's when I leave a story. And we talk about it on the podcast a lot, giving updates there. But to people that are listening now, it's very difficult, certainly to short a name that is not trading on fundamentals. It's also hard to go long a name when it's all on promises. And I'll say this about Musk. He's promised shareholders things in the past that never came to fruition, was given the benefit of the doubt. He's now talking about cutting $2 trillion, from the U.S. budget, being able to basically improve the budget. And you're not going to be able to do that. So it's one thing to mess with shareholders. It's another, in my opinion, to mess with the American citizen. So we'll see. But it feels like it's moving from the corporate world, right, into the
US. Don't mess with America, man.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to go there a little bit to round that out.
Well, I mean, the question is, does Elon Musk want to take away a lot of the safety net services of people who can't even afford Teslas? You know what I mean? I just think this is an uncharted territory where we are right now. It's one thing to take Dick Cheney, who is the CEO of Halliburton, and put him in that sort of seat. And, it's a very transparent sort of thing. What's going on with this Doge is going to be it's not going to be particularly transparent.
This is interesting because it does go back to a trade, because you think about who this alienates in terms of Tesla buyers, right? And so for everybody who loves where Elon Musk stands, there's probably somebody else who doesn't. It's on the opposite side.
It's, that might be true for like a Coca-Cola, or we talk about brands that have alienated. I'm not certain that holds water in terms of Tesla and their base. Maybe I'm 100% wrong, and quite frankly, I don't even know if it's about auto sales anymore anyway, so I get what you're saying, but I don't think that moves the needle.
Think about this. Other than this comp package thing that happened yesterday, the only court case that Musk really ever lost was that he was forced to buy Twitter, right? What happened when he bought Twitter? Only good things happened for him because he used it as a platform to spread whatever kind of information to get what he wanted. And every single investigation that might have been going on is now gone. But to Dan's point, you should be concerned as a U.S. consumer, if you get approved for FSD when it's still supervisory, it's a danger. And that's not a Tesla comment. That's just in general. So that's the stuff I'm watching for now. It has nothing to do with the Tesla stock.
Well, again, we know there are industries and the auto sector. The irony here is that actually the big three, or maybe the big two now, don't necessarily love what should be support of Detroit. And again, I know it sounds crazy, but removing EV subsidies and making it more expensive to build an EV car is not good news for GM, who's not given any credit for their ICE business. So GM shareholder, I actually think some of this is sentiment that will just work its way through. But, and look at the steel sector today. I mean, there's all these conversations about keep it in America, build it in America, no foreign partners for America. Not great always.
Hey, really quickly, I know Mel wants to move here. They also want to cut the CFPB. So we're talking about autos, we're talking about this sort of thing. There's a lot of implications if you cut that. That is meant to protect consumers from financial, fraud or whatever.
Exactly.